medicine when it comes to lifestyle management. It's never too late. Lo and behold, after 1 year, getting the angiogram, I should say, redone, showed that from 50%, her blockage went down to 20%. The SimplyNature's PPARs is not just any supplement because it's plant-based whole food. That's why I'm actually advocating it, because it's in line with what my advocacy is. And I've seen the results. I mean, we've had studies and it showed that it did reduce inflammation.
Yeah.
It showed that it decreased cholesterol. Add these supplements into your diet because it will really help dial down the inflammation.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Simply Healed with Simply Nature. And today our topic is something close to everybody's heart because it's actually about your heart. And today we're very honored to have the Asia Pacific ex-president of the College of Lifestyle Medicine, and now he's head of Asia Pacific, if I'm not wrong. Let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. Johann, who's also from the 4-Leaf Lifestyle Medical Group. Hi, Doc. Welcome to our show again.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Yeah, you look fantastic, Doc. It looks like the lockdown and pandemic you're doing well.
Well, we're safe, we're healthy, so yeah.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about the heart. And Doc, I know that you have such great success with heart diseases. And and so today we want to tackle the whole issue of heart diseases. We look forward to whatever you have to share with us.
Yeah, well, basically, we now know today that, well, the question is in the mind of many people, especially those who have heart diseases, can lifestyle change reverse heart disease? And of course, in the past several decades, a lot of research has been put into this from people such as Dr. Dean Ornish, for example, who showed that by simple lifestyle changes, eating a more plant-predominant diet, helped his patients reverse the blockages of the heart, the coronary arteries. And this was amazing because at that time, nobody had ever thought of heart disease being reversible, because we've always, even in medical school, they teach us that heart disease is a degenerative condition, and that as you get older, these plaques will inevitably form. Wow. But now we're seeing otherwise.
Wow. In my encounter with cardiologists, they were always saying that the plaque buildup in your arteries, like you said, cannot be reversed. And every time I hinted that with SimplyNature PPARs, you can actually reverse it, their face goes like, they get so worried. It was like they're so scared that the plaque will break off and create a aneurysm, right? A stroke. So in their minds, it really cannot be reversed. And I think many predominant cardiologists who are really great doctors, but they still have the mindset that this cannot be reversed. But you told me that today, yes, in the United States, the president of the Heart Association of the
American College of Cardiology,
Dr.
So Kim Williams,
head of all the cardiologists in America.
That is correct.
And what did he say?
Well, basically, he, again, using the previous research from Dean Ornish and then, of course, his own clinical experience with his own patients, he found that indeed it was true, and that his heart disease patients, when he put them on a plant-based whole food diet, and after just a month or 2 months on that diet, the symptoms of chest pain would disappear completely. Wow, no chest pain, even if they went on an exercise routine.
Just 1 or 2 months?
Yes, just 1 or 2 months into the program, and they don't have any more angina pain. Of course, the blockage itself will take a little bit longer to clear because it did take a few years, several years to build it up in the first place. But with the knowledge today that heart disease is a metabolic condition, then it just goes to logically the solution would be a metabolic solution as well, and that metabolic solution happens to be an intake of these plant-based sources of food.
How many personal patients in the area of like metabolic syndromes, from diabetes to cardio?
I've been practicing since 2011, lifestyle medicine, so
probably
a little bit more than 1,000 patients. Yes.
Wow, that's a real track record.
The lives that have been touched through the programs, through my programs, through the lifestyle medicine programs that we conduct, has been really, really great.
Wow, so more than 1,000 patients, so you really have real experience. Praise God. Maybe you share with us one of the more impactful ones that you remember.
Okay, there's this one patient that really, it impacted me because it inspired me as well. It was, in your practice, there are some days where you question your advocacy and say, what in the world am I doing? Am I doing this for a purpose? Is there sense in doing this? And then all of a sudden you have this post on Facebook from one of my patients. Of course, we'll just keep the identity discreet because this is a patient doctor thing that we have here. So this patient of mine posted on Facebook and said, in 1 year's time, she was able to get her heart condition that was one of her arteries was blocked 50%, and we know that a 50% blocked artery is a lot more dangerous than a 90% blocked artery because the blockage is actually still soft. The plaque is soft, and anytime you get a bout of high blood pressure or hypertension, that plaque could easily break off because it's still soft and cause a clot and cause a heart attack. So it was at that point where her doctors told her that, look, it's either you get a stent or you increase your risk of getting a heart attack anytime. She was afraid of the knife, of course. She didn't want to bypass. And so she underwent my program. And lo and behold, after 1 year, getting the angiogram, I should say, redone, showed that from 50%, her blockage went down to 20%. And in a month's time, she actually didn't have any more symptoms of chest pain. She was able to do some light jogging, physical exercise without any chest pain. And these are very promising results from some of my patients. So this is just one of them. It was kind of a highlight in my mind because she posted on Facebook about it. So it was pretty fun to see that. Oh wow! So what I'm doing actually makes sense.
Wow, and I just want to also chip in here also that we've had so many patients with cardiovascular issues. The one that's stuck on my mind, that's why our listeners out there, Dr. Johann is speaking from life experience. It's not theory that we are talking about.
No, this isn't theory.
Actual patients, right? That give us the confidence of what we are doing. For me personally, it was because I had a tita. I have many good titas here in Philippines. But I had a tita, and she actually had to go for angioplasty. So she did angioplasty for two reasons. One is that her family, her first three brothers in her family have put together more than 6 stents. Between the three of them, they have
a lot of stents.
All right. So they have also gone for bypass surgery. And her cardiologist actually told her, I don't need to make any more money from you for stents and bypasses anymore. And so that's one reason she didn't want to go for surgery. Number two is that angioplasty actually costs 500,000 pesos.
Yeah,
that's 500,000 pesos. So it's not a small amount of money.
Nope, it isn't.
And she's about 60 years old. So it's two considerations: the cost and also the surgery. So what she did was that she actually went on exactly what you said. She adjusted her lifestyle. So she stopped eating all the nonsense for 1 month. All right. And she was on liquid. She was on 1 box of liquid to jumpstart. And after that, she was on tablets, right? So 1 month from needing to do angioplasty because there was a blockage. In 1 month's time, when she went to the table, she was actually in the operating table. So before they did the angioplasty, they do an angiogram.
Angiogram, that's right.
So when her cardiologist, and she was already under anesthesia, when the cardiologist did the angiogram, he stopped the surgery. They actually wheeled her out of the operating theater. And when she woke up, her cardiologist said to her, "I'm so sorry that I even made you go through everything, because actually the angiogram showed that your arteries are completely clear." 1 month, Doc.
That's great.
So yeah, and the last one before we jump to the topic, so that all our audience know that what we are talking about, we're not talking about theory. We're gonna share. Dr. Johann is gonna share about the science behind it, and he'll give you an overview. But if you really want to go on a program, look for Dr. Johann, or you can look for us. And we want to share with you real stuff. The other one that's real personal to me is my Lola. She's my Filipina Lola. Okay, I adopted her as my Lola. She's none other than Dr. Angie Demondo. So she's 84 this year, 85, coming 85 this year. So she had a arrhythmia, a heart. She's a 2-time survivor of leukemia. So she has a heart issue. And there was one time she got food poisoning, and that affected her heart. She was just saying that when her body was under a lot of stress, her heart was under a lot of stress. She ended up in ICU, and was laughing because I ran to the ICU and I carried in my pocket one vial of PPAR liquid, right?
Right.
She took it, and the next day she was able to be discharged. And she's a 7-day Adventist. She knows Dr. Martin, Dr. Martin in cardiology in Seventh-day Adventist Church. Yeah. So it was amazing. And after that, for 5 years, she has never stopped using SimplyNature products. And like you, Doc, she is a vegan. She's pretty much a vegan, a 7-day Adventist, right? So her testimony is, she just did a test. Her heart went from 15% working, today is 30. From the age of 80 to 85, her heart grew stronger.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
That's what it's supposed. So she was laughing and she was telling me, we don't grow older, we grow healthier. And I said, wow, so inspiring. An 80-year-old has a better heart at age 85 than she had at 80.
When it comes to lifestyle medicine, when it comes to lifestyle management, it's never too late. And there are studies that show that in just 5 years of stopping your unhealthy habits and going to healthier habits and practicing a healthier lifestyle, including eating the right type of food, getting the right type of nutrients. In 5 years' time, it's as if you never smoked, you never drank alcohol, you've always exercised. Basically, in 5 years' time, you can get back the health that you're supposed to have.
Wow. So with that, with these testimonies and these case studies, let's really dive in to show the rest of our audience how they can also experience this revolutionary change in their life.
Yeah, sure.
So, Doc, let me start by asking you, for most heart patients, they are on stents and they're on statins, right? They have bypasses. Is there a place for bypasses, for stent, for angioplasty, for statins in our life? So how do we look at this?
These things, we're experts at bypasses and stent placements. These are life-saving procedures. I mean, if the patient is actually having a heart attack at the moment, or if the patient did have a heart attack, then that means the artery is completely blocked and there's no blood at all going to a certain part of the heart. Then of course a bypass can save that patient's life. A stent can save a patient's life. But these are in acute situations. We're talking about long-term care, right? So after stabilizing the patient's heart, after getting the bypass, after getting the stent, how efficient are the medications? Can the medications prolong your life, or will it just save you at the moment, and then if you don't make the changes, you'll still die prematurely, So we've seen the studies, and it is pretty accurate that if you only do the stents without changing the lifestyle, in 1 to 2 years time, that patient could have another heart attack.
Wow, it's quite common. Like I said in my
Yes.
testimony, my tita actually, her brothers actually have more than 6 stents between them. So it's very common for single bypass, double bypass, triple bypass, and then one person can have more than 1 stent. So obviously something is not complete. The protocol is not complete because
these procedures will not heal the patient. They're not healed. There's still a risk of developing more blockage in the future, because what we're doing is we're simply treating the symptoms. There's a blockage, you take the blockage away, right? Or you do a bypass. But how the blockage got there in the first place is what we really want to address, so that in the future, there will be no more blockages that will form. And this is where lifestyle management comes in.
So am I right to say that our program and what you're trying to teach and share with our viewers today is that the last stent that you put in, that should be the last stent you ever put in your body. And if you had to
have it again,
and if you had a single bypass, you will never have a double bypass or triple bypass. One bypass is all you want to have in your life.
If you survive that first heart attack and you got the bypass, thank God for a second chance at life, and you should really protect yourself. You should really prevent yourself from getting another problem, another heart attack, or another bypass.
Wow, Doc, thank you. So it's really possible for that to happen, and we have shared with you guys the success stories. Doc, now could you enlighten us? What's the approach? How do we? So it is number one, the myth that you can't reverse blocked arteries. That has been busted, right?
Completely busted.
Even the head of cardiology, the Association of Cardiologists in America, the president has said that it is reversible now.
That's Dr. Kim Williams.
So that's good news. So that has been busted. Now, Doc, can you share with us now in detail what's the theory behind why is it reversible? I know I saw some of your charts that you showed how in countries where countries like Japan and Finland, how the statistics show that what you eat and how you live your life directly impacts your heart.
So thank you very much. So the thing is, when you look at some of my slides here, the heart of the matter section of my slides, you see that the main risk factor for developing heart disease at the very top of this arc here is LDL cholesterol. And beside that are the other higher risk factors, including smoking, high blood pressure, having diabetes, and inactivity. Can you believe that today there are studies that show that sitting down for long periods of time is as bad as smoking for your heart, or probably even worse. So today, sitting down for long periods of time without breaking that up into shorter periods is a huge risk factor for developing heart disease. And when you look at these charts I have on cholesterol and coronary heart disease incidence in Finland compared to Japan, there's a huge difference. Okay, Finland is up there, and this was in 1980. Of course, that has changed because the government of Finland did not want them to not want their population to be dying of heart disease and being at the top of the list of countries with heart disease. That's different now, but during that time, Finland was number 1. And so that was really a concern for them. And 80% of the variance could be explained by differences in their usual diet. And that is something that we can control. Diet is something that we personally choose, right? We choose what to eat. So especially in the amount of saturated fat. So in Finland, they had a lot of saturated fat in their diet, and that's what caused them to be the top country in the world with the most incidence of heart disease.
Doc, for the Filipino diet, what are some of the common foods that are actually not great for us? I mean, is adobo bad for us? Or what are the things that a heart patient really has to take note of?
Yeah, I know this is It's kind of sad for Filipinos because we love our adobo, we love our meats especially, and unfortunately, most of kind of the Western type of foods we've recreated to be even more fatty, and plus we add sugar to it. So you know, it's worse than I could even say that's worse than the Western diet. See, we've basically upgraded the Western diet and made it worse in our country, and that is why in the past decade, 2 decades or so, all of a sudden we've had a spike in all of these chronic diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and cancers. Cancers is now not number 6, not number 8, it's now up there in number 4. And this is why in the past few months I've been getting so many cancer patients as well as heart disease patients. So these are things that we should really consider. Your lifestyle, as you change your lifestyle, as you're influenced by advertising in media, you know, all these things that, all these advertisings that, advertisements that tell you to eat this type of food, eat that type of food, and all those foods are simply processed and more meat-based than plant-based. Then when you give into that, then you're setting yourself up for a really miserable life in the future when it comes to your health.
Doc, when we did talk about statins is something many heart patients take. What is, obviously it works for the short term. What is the concern about taking statins for a long period of time?
I've had so many patients come back to me on statins regarding pain in their muscles, pain in their, basically in their body because of the side effects of these statin drugs. There's one condition we call rhabdomyolysis, where your muscles start to break down and you have less and less function of your muscles because of the drug. So if you think about it, statins, the original statin came from plants. Drug companies isolated the statin molecule and created a drug out of it. But by eating plant-based foods, you get the statins for free. Okay, the statins is free because you paid for the plant, but then you get statins free, and you get it in its natural form. And of course, in its natural form, together with all the good of the fiber from the plants, all the other nutrients, the phytochemicals, that all combined in your system will help you keep healthy and maintain your health without the side effects.
Wow. So Doc, what are the simple rules, if there were only like 1 to 5 or top 3 rules of how to live a healthy lifestyle? Because I know your CHIP program really goes into detail about that. But for our listeners out here today, in a short, maybe 5 minutes, what are the top rules that they should adhere to be able to live a life that will that can reverse the heart condition to make it healthy, so that they can be like my Lola. As they age, their heart gets stronger, not weaker.
That's right.
What is your top 3 or top 5 advice for cardio health?
Yeah, I actually have 4. Okay,
4.
So guidelines for a healthy heart. 4 isn't a very hard number to memorize, so I hope that everybody gets this.
All right.
First of all, reduce the intake of processed foods. So, you know, some of us, humans in general, sometimes we think that we're better than God. You know, He gave us all this wonderful foods from nature, from plant-based sources like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and beans. And then we think, I can do a better job. Okay. And then we process all that food, and what we get is this nutrient deficient, fiber deficient product. And when we eat all that on a daily basis and we make it our kind of staple, then we are definitely setting ourselves up for trouble in the future. The next thing that we want to do, apart from reducing intake of processed foods, is to reduce the intake of animal products, because we know that any product from an animal is a pro-oxidant, whether it is the animal's flesh itself, whether that's seafood, fish, you know, fowl like chicken and turkey, and even red meat, if you get these products and eat them, if you eat animal type products, even eggs and milk, studies have shown that these are the products that induce, number one, increase in cholesterol in our blood, because the product itself is very high in cholesterol, plus it's also very high in saturated fat. And saturated fat is really the culprit here, because it induces the production of cholesterol in our bodies. It induces the liver, or it stimulates the liver to produce more cholesterol.
Wow.
Okay, so saturated fat is really, really bad. I know there are some plant sources of saturated fat, but most of the saturated fat in today's diet, in today's modern diet, is from animal-based sources. So you want to reduce the intake of animal sources of food. So that just goes to show that if you have to reduce animal products, then you'll have to eat something else instead of that.
Yes.
Then the next advice is to eat more whole plant-based foods. I'm not telling you you have to go vegan.
Yeah.
That of course would be the best thing to do, but vegan in terms of what you eat. So I call myself a more dietary vegan than a real lifestyle kind of a vegan. I'm not too strict with, if friends, for example, gift me leather shoes, I can't say no to that, because that would be rude, right? But it's against like the vegan lifestyle. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, when you eat more plant-based whole foods, you're getting the best sources of nutrients for your body. When we eat animal foods, we're getting protein secondhand. Did you know that? People think that, protein, you need to get it from meat, but where do the animals get their protein from? They get their protein mostly from vegetables, from grass, from plants. And so I'm not telling everybody to eat grass also, okay? We eat vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans. Those are the foods that we really, really need to eat.
Doc, before you go on about, because you talked a lot about diet, can I ask you, because to really change a diet is quite challenging.
It is.
So can I ask you, if a normal person, if a cardio patient, right, starts by just changing one meal a day, let's say their lunch or dinner, they go pure vegetable for that meal. So they cut out meat from one of their major meals, and they still eat the normal, conservative, reasonable amount of adobo or chicken.
Yeah.
Does changing even one meal a day, does it have a significant impact on your heart health?
More is better. Okay, more is better. More change is better. So I'm not saying completely take away meat if you really can't. If you can, then absolutely go for it. But if you can't, if you're craving for that meat, I would advise that you use the meat more as a condiment to flavor your food. The thing is, if the food is delicious, people will eat it, whether it's from animals or whether it's from plants. It doesn't matter. If it tastes good, then people will go for it. And that's why in my advocacy as a lifestyle medicine physician, I really teach and educate people on how to prepare food, because food that is prepared to taste wonderful is something that will help you transition from a meat-based diet to a plant-based diet.
True, just like ampalaya, all you need is a little bit of eggs with ampalaya, and it makes the ampalaya so delicious. My mother-in-law cooks vegetables with a little bit of prawns, and even minced pork. So it's like 1 tablespoon of minced pork in a whole big plate of vegetables. But you're right, just that minced pork as flavoring makes that whole dish.
It'll enhance the flavor of the food. And of course, there's other ways of doing it where you don't even need to use animal products. And of course, in our programs, the programs that we have, we can teach you how to make your food absolutely delicious. And you won't even miss the meat because it just tastes so good, And these are things that people should learn.
So what is the last 4th tip? You've already covered 3. What's your last one?
Okay, so we talked about reducing processed foods, reducing animal products, eating more whole plant-based foods. And the last tip or the last guideline for a healthy heart is eat less high-fat foods. I mentioned a little bit about that. Saturated fat is bad for us, but in general, when we eat less of oil, for example, even if it's from vegetable oil,
Even
fat
olive
is
oil,
fat. Even
oil.
olive oil. That's correct. In some of the studies, they used eggs and vegetable oil to produce heart disease in monkeys of all creatures. And as you know, primates are very close to humans in terms of taxonomy, right? In terms of
Yeah.
scientific nomenclature, but their arteries are a lot smaller than human beings, and that's why they were able to induce heart attacks in these monkeys just by giving them eggs fried in vegetable oil. So the vegetable oil did not help in protecting these poor animals, and of course I'm against that now because I feel for the animals. but the thing is, eating less high-fat foods, reducing the amount of oil, or if you could even, for example, instead of deep frying your food, you can buy this equipment we call air fryers.
Oh yes,
the food comes out like it's fried, but you didn't use a drop of oil. And
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Things are great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I grill my native organic chicken that I do.
Okay, there you go.
I put it in the air fryer. It comes out crispy, just like Max chicken.
Okay, wow.
Not a single oil was added to it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Doc, one advice. Is there a reason why? I mean, your advocacy and your solutions for heart patients is really lifestyle change, but yet you endorse and you use SimplyNature products, our tablets, our extracts, our liquids.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Why do you use that when you are when you're advocating lifestyle? How does it fit in?
I rely on evidence, right? I rely on evidence. If the science tells me that a supplement works, then I will use that. And if you think about it, the SimplyNature's PPARs is not just any supplement, because it still is a plant-based whole food. Yeah, that's why I'm actually advocating it, because it's a plant-based whole food, and it's in line with what my advocacy is. And I've seen the results. I mean, we've had studies that were highlighted in by doctors such as Dr. Michael Greger, for example. One of his videos talked about this green algae. Yeah, green algae. PPARs is a specific strain of chlorella, right?
Yes, correct.
So it's the same green algae, and it showed that it did reduce inflammation.
Yeah.
It showed that it decreased cholesterol.
Wow.
Okay. So the advice is, again, eat a whole food plant-based diet. Add these supplements into your diet because it will really help dial down the inflammation. Remember, chronic diseases in general, whether it's heart disease, it's cancer, whether it's diabetes, there's always inflammation involved in the pathophysiology, in the pathology of these diseases, and dialing down that inflammation will definitely help you more quickly recover from your condition. So absolutely, I use. How many years have I been?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't even notice the time. How it flies. So yeah.
In fact, Dr. Johann, we just interviewed one of your patients, and she was a cancer patient.
Yes.
Right, and there are many patients of yours with metabolic syndromes too. So you've had great success with your lifestyle and using our products to kickstart the process. Because it's so hard to start on a lifestyle change, but it's quite easy to start by
pop a pill.
Pop a pill, right? But it's actually what you're doing is you're eating a whole bowl of vegetables worth of new vegetable.
Yeah, pretty much.
In just a mouthful, right? Yeah. So would you say that you trust that SimplyNature PPARs is in line with a healthy lifestyle, and that you trust that it will produce the results for heart patients?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Praise God.
Yes. I'm actually glad. I mean, before before Simply Nature was even in the picture, I had for about 1 year before I met you guys, I had been looking for some type of chlorella product, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course you guys suddenly were
Appear.
in the picture. You actually contacted me, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
And we had the science. The most important thing is that we did the studies.
Yes.
Did the studies.
And that's what I mean, there's been a lot of other companies, you know, these supplement companies, they come to me. I ask for the science behind their product. Do you have evidence that your product actually works? And all they give me is like related literature. I don't like related literature. I like the actual product. You know, if you can't prove to me that your product,
the product, right?
yeah, your product has to work. Otherwise, I will go for the product that's in the related literature.
Correct. You know, so we are very excited. Dr. Johann does a CHIP program. He teaches how to cook and adjust your lifestyle. So if you don't cook, send your yaya to the program, or send your wife.
If you allow me, I'd like to also promote another of my new ventures. I call it the Doctor's Kitchen PH.
Okay.
So we now have a kitchen that produces food for those of you who are really busy and don't have any time. You may know how to cook, but don't have the time to cook. Then we have these pre-made meals for 10 days, 20 days, even a whole month. Just go to the Doctor's Kitchen PH on Facebook and order from them if you're really busy. Yeah,
that's great. And for those of you who want to know more about everything Dr. Johann has talked about, get ready, click on the link below, and we will actually have a PDF for you, a short book, very easy to understand, less than 50 pages. In fact, it's just less than 20 pages, which you can definitely read. And we have links to videos on more specifics about what we've talked about today so that you can get started. All right. So Dr. Johann, before we go today, any last words for any patient out there with cardio issues? Any words of encouragement or advice you want to give them?
Of course, before undergoing any program, you also have to coordinate with your physician, your own cardiologist. I always work with cardiologists. We do not work against cardiologists. We want to work with the whole medical community and make sure that we are giving you the best care possible to help you with your heart condition. We now have enough evidence to show that lifestyle medicine is an absolute necessity when it comes to being able to reverse heart disease. So with the guidelines for a healthy heart that I shared, please follow these guidelines. If you need specific treatments, or if you have specific concerns, then you could always contact us through 4-Leaf Lifestyle Medical Group.
And Doc, you have started your teleconsult too, right?
Yes, I have.
In the midst of pandemic right now, lockdown, you can contact Dr. Johann, and Dr. Johann is not alone. He has a whole team to support you. So there's the 4-Leaf Lifestyle Medical Group. You can contact them. We'll provide you the link as well. So yeah, you're all in good hands, and we're going to have healthy hearts. So thank you very much, Dr. Johann. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we would like to invite you back next month and the months to come. I think November is a month, or is it October? We're going to talk about cancer. And Doc Johann has so much success with cancer patients, all right? So many cancer patients has done well in his care. So I think don't miss that when we invite Dr. Johann back to talk about that. All right? So thank you very much, Dr. Johann.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Johann, for the wonderful webinar about heart health. Now you know the good news. That stent that you have, that bypass that you just did, that could be the last bypass and last stent you will ever have in your life. And if you are going for angioplasty, there is even a chance for you to unblock your arteries without going for surgery. So number one, consult your cardiologist, and also you can consult Dr. Johann or anybody from his team so that they will work together to help you avoid surgery if possible. Of course, if you need that stent right away, if you need that bypass right away, go for it. All right, here the good news is you can actually reverse the permanent blockages in your arteries and the buildup of the plaque in your arteries. That is now possible. And you can start with SimplyNature PPAR tablets and soft gels to kickstart that process. Our tablets and soft gels are actually gene activators. They are epigenetics. So you will switch on the functions in your body that will lower inflammation, which actually contributes to buildup of plaque. And it will also give you all the nutrients, the plant-based nutrients that Dr. Johann spoke about. It's rich in fiber, it's low in fat, it's plant protein instead of animal protein, and it's a great way to get off long-term drug use like statins, all right? Because now you're getting the statins from real plants. Okay, so you can start on a healthy heart right now. Just click on the links below to find out how you can start on SimplyNature PPAR products and work towards a healthy